Welcome, everybody, to Let's Talk, the Todd Worsham Show. Well, today's show is going to be about another one of my weird shit. Pyramids. Pyramids of Giza, pyramids of Mexico. Although there's not too much information out, there are also pyramids in China. I know this. You know this. And there's also pyramids. I believe we found some in Antarctica, and I can't remember if it's Antarctica or the Arctic. And we've even found some stuff underneath the ocean. So really cool here. So what are the Great Pyramids of Giza? Are they tombs? Nah. No, don't think so. No one's ever been found dead in them. And if you look at the interior structure of how they're built and everything in it, it doesn't make any sense. There was nothing found in them. There was nothing, in there at all. So I'm going to cross that one off the board because I'm 99% sure that it was not built by the Egyptians. I'm pretty sure it was built way before them. So, anyway, so then what are they if they're not tombs? Well, I think Nikola Tesla got it right. I think they're power plants. And I truly believe that the ancients had way more technology than we have. And I believe that they understood the electromagnetics of the earth. And I believe they understood the grounding system. I believe they understood the whole atmospheric system. I believe they understood things on a way higher level than we do. I believe that we're still thinking in micro when we should be thinking in macro. I say this all the time. And I believe that at one time that there was electromagnetic fields spread all over the whole world. I'm not really sure about the whole world, but I would say in big parts of the world to produce electricity. Because it's really weird, because one question I never heard anybody ever ask, and I think about this all the time when I see all these ancient dwellings, especially like in India, where they have all those cities that are built into the rocks, and in China, and all these places where they have all this exquisite tunneling and building in all these cities and these dwellings that they built, and there's no soot. And it always makes me think, well, how in the heck did they make all this stuff without burning oil or burning something for light? And then all of that, wouldn't that eat up the oxygen in certain situations, certain conditions? And because I know, because here in Arizona, we have Indian dwellings all over the place here, and they're not that old. They're maybe 1,500 years old. Maybe I don't know if they're even that old. But anyway, they're not that old. And in comparison, and everyone you go into, there's always soot on the ceiling. Always. I can take you to hundreds of them, and the ceilings are all covered in soot from building fires inside the dwellings. And of course the smoke rises up and it covers the ceiling and you have soot. And one of the things that's always amazed me about the Egyptian world, and even in Greece, I mean, you don't really see it even in Greece, or in the Greek world, Roman Empire. Where's all the soot? I mean, you think that we would find rock with soot on it so we could, like carbon dated or, DNA dated or whatever method they're using today. But, but we don't even find soot. So we don't even know what they were burning or how they kept these places illuminated at night. And with the exception of the Baghdad batteries, to my knowledge, I haven't seen anything in my researching or my, looking around that shows any other kind of like a light bulb or some kind of device, with the exception of, God, I can't remember where it's at. There is that one picture where it has like the two light bulbs coming out from each other, and looks like they're looks like there's a lotus flower holding the bulb together, and then it has like a snake going through the bulb for the filament. So not really sure what all that means, but I mean, if you were just to look at the picture, it looks like a freaking light bulb. And I don't know what the lotus flowers, I mean, the lotus flower does have meaning, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But so how did they do all that? How did they build the inside of the pyramids at night, or did they not build at night? And if that's the case, how long did it take them to build it? Nobody really knows. Now, the one thing that we did prove, by finding graves and doing research on the bones and stuff like that, where we had thought for a long time through history that that the people who built the pyramids were slaves. Well, we're finding out that's not true. From all the bones they have found, and with all the testing they've done and everything, they have found that those people were very healthy individuals. They had a really good diet. Their bone structure was healthy. They weren't broken down. They weren't beat down. They weren't abused on any level. They were just normal, everyday people who helped build the pyramids. So, and not only that, but some of the granite that came from there was like hundreds of miles down the Nile. And scientists are saying that they put them on flatbed like rafts and then move these 10-ton granite. So my thought is, well, let's go a step back from that and say, well, how did they cut the granite? According to scientists, that was the Brass Age. So I don't know if anybody has ever tried to cut granite with brass, but I can just tell you through my work, some of the metals that I work with, there's other metals that won't even penetrate certain metals. And same thing with rock. I mean, I really don't think that you could chisel granite with a brass chisel. I don't see that happening. That's kind of like cutting butter, or cutting a knife butter with butter. The two elements, they're so far different in hardness that I just don't even see that happening. I would like to see somebody prove it to me. And it's funny because they all boister this, but yet, to my knowledge, so far, I haven't seen anybody carve out a 2-ton, 5-ton block of granite with a rock or some type of hammer and a brass chisel. I haven't seen that done yet. I have watched some theories on this, and to this date, they still don't even know how they built the scaffolding. It would have taken almost more material to build the scaffolding than it would have to build the pyramid. And then where's all the trailings? Where's all the leftover stuff? I mean, if you built all this scaffolding big enough to build all these pyramids, where did all the stuff go from the scaffoldings? I mean, that's probably hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of tons of rock. Where did it go? It just just vanished. I don't know. Maybe they built other things in the city with it. Maybe they sold it. I don't know, but I haven't ever heard any theories, or haven't heard any answers on this kind of stuff. It's kind of like there's this city in, I want to say it's India, and this city was built in the side of a mountain, and they estimate it was like 100,000 tons of trailings, the little pieces of rock that it would take to because they sculpted it out of the mountain. They sculpted this big, huge like city cathedral out of the side of the mountain. It's just unbelievably gorgeous. I can't remember the name of it right now, but if you get a chance, go online, Google it, or actually YouTube it, and it's just unfreaking believable what they did. But at any rate, so the question is that scientists are scratching their head on is, where did all the trailings go? So you just displaced hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tons of rock, and they can't find it anywhere. Nowhere on the planet can they find where all these pieces, all these trailings came from. They're just gone. It baffles me. I mean, I don't really know. I have my theories, but people probably think I'm really far out there. But I personally think it was done with lasers and some other technology that we don't know of yet, or we don't have. And same thing with the pyramids. I do believe that the pyramids were built by anti-gravitational devices. And the reason why I believe that is because in some of the hieroglyphs, it actually shows pictures of people with a device, and they've got their hand over the stone, and they're walking the stones. It shows them right in the hieroglyphs. They're walking the stones to the, well, I don't know if they're walking to the pyramid, but it shows them walking the stones. And the story goes that that's how they built it. That's their story. But because mainstream science can't explain this, or has no, explanation for it, instead of telling you the facts of what they find, they come up with all these, weird theories that, yeah, there was 5 million people out there chiseling granite and sandstone with these brass chisels. And okay, so if that's the case, how do you explain all the rocks that are laying around the pyramids that have perfectly cylindrical holes in them with what looks like threads or rings around the circumference of the holes, and then yet you can't find the other half of the hole? Where's the tubes at? Where's the piece that came out of there? I don't know. I haven't seen, not saying they're not out there. I just haven't really seen them to my knowledge. I don't remember seeing them. Doesn't mean they're not out there. They could be out there. But I don't think you could take a brass chisel and a rock or some type of hammer and chisel out a perfectly symmetrical tube, even in sandstone. I mean, and in sandstone, if that was the case and you did chisel it out, then why would you go all the way down through the rock in the sandstone and make these little squiggly lines that look like looks like a cutter, like on a CNC machine or a machining machine? And it looks just like that, and they're in there. So again, how did they do that? I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking questions, because mainstream science really isn't. I don't know. I don't think they're telling us the whole picture. I think there's a lot more information that they're not really giving out. And unfortunately, when you watch a lot of this stuff, I think they have to keep to a narrative, because you kind of got to go outside the box to find people who are independently doing their own research to actually get some type of answers to, or asking the right questions to even begin with. But so the pyramids, I do believe that they are some type of power plant. I do believe whether they were, whether they blanketed the certain areas with electrical, from what I understand from all the the scientists that I've seen explain it, it basically uses the grounding from the earth with the positive ions from the atmosphere and the negative ions from the earth, and it creates this electrical field by doing this. And don't forget that back in the day when the pyramids were up and running, when they were in functioning condition, the Nile River went right through the base of them. So they've proven that the water, they took the water off the Nile and moved it underneath the pyramids, and I believe that was to help generate static electricity. That's kind of what started the generator. And then I don't know if you've seen this or not lately, but there's several shafts in the pyramid, and some scientists have put some like RC drones, RC, car drones or whatever inside these holes, and they've driven them all the way up, and all of a sudden they stop. And it's really weird because the tunnels are just blocked. And then if you look at what's on the blockage, and I'm just saying what it looks like. I'm not saying this is what it is. It looks like electrodes. It looks like two pieces of metal, like from the wires where we get our electricity to our house from. It looks. I mean, you look at it, and it looks familiar. It looks like technology that we have today. So my understanding from what I've watched and what I've read and everything, the pyramids were definitely not burial grounds. They were not. They had nothing to do with that. I'm a firm believer in that, and it would take you a lot to convince me otherwise. Especially that granite sarcophagus that's in it. I don't understand how they built that with brass tooling. I don't understand how they got it moved in there. I don't understand how they built it around it. I don't understand a lot of things when it comes to how these pyramids were built. Now, if you go back to the anti-gravitational device, that makes a lot more sense, because then you could gracefully place things where you needed to place them. And I don't know, maybe this is where the Baghdad batteries came in. Maybe, they use the Baghdad batteries to work at night to illuminate the area. I don't know, but there's a lot of things about the pyramids that are really, really amazing, and they're just like unworldly. I mean, if we were supposed to be in the brass age, how in the hell did we come up with these calculations? How in the hell did we figure out all this kind of stuff that went on? We today cannot build the pyramids. Today, we can't even build the scaffolding. We can't even build the scaffolding to build the pyramid. So let that sink in. And we're supposed to be so technically advanced, and we're supposed to be like the, oh God, mighty, advanced peoples. And thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, they were doing things on this planet that we can't even do today. It makes me laugh to a certain extent, because people just refuse to see what's in front of their face. I mean, it's just like the chemtrails. We talked about the chemtrails, right? I mean, you go out your yard, you go out in your front yard, your backyard, you look at the sky, and you see all the lines in the sky, and then 2 or 3 hours later, the sky is all overcast, and you watch this day after day after day. But then you tell yourself, well, no, that's not what that is. Well, okay, well, then what is it? Same thing with the pyramids. I mean, we're to the point now where we understand that these were not burial grounds. They were not tombs. And between all the physicists and electrical engineers and all these other types of scientists and stuff like that, I mean, are pretty much convinced that they were power plants. I mean, I don't know. And then the Great Pyramids of Giza also have some pretty unique history with them when it comes to world leaders. For example, Napoleon, when he got to Egypt, he had heard all this, crazy stuff about spiritual awakening and talking to God and all this kind of stuff. So he spent the night in there. And guess what happened? He was given information. I can't remember what his exact words were, but he heard the voice of God, basically. He connected with either the Acacia Records, or he connected with something spiritually on a spiritual level that was beyond his capability of understanding. And from that point on, he came out and he won all those wars and did all kinds of stuff. Hitler was in there. There's been some other peoples throughout history that have went to the pyramids to try to capture this supposedly spiritual off-world knowledge. So that's maybe kind of another thing that the pyramids do. Maybe they're kind of a portal at the same time, because if you have all that energy going on at the same time, maybe that's enough energy to create a spiritual portal for you to go back and visit your people, or for you to go back and visit your world, or whatever. I know this sounds really crazy, but like I said, I've been getting into some really kind of pretty crazy research lately, and I have come to the conclusion that things just aren't what we think they are. And we're in the middle of waking up right now to seeing all that. So, but the pyramids produced electricity. Imagine if we had that now today. I'm sure Elon Musk would be happy, because then he wouldn't have to put any batteries in his Teslas. Can you imagine? That'd be so cool. Like all this equipment I have right now, I didn't need to plug it into a wall or nothing. I just turn the switches on, and as soon as I turn all the switches on, it just grabs the electrical field that's naturally there, or that's going on due to like a pyramid or like a Tesla tower, which, that's a whole nother thing I'll get into on another episode. But the Tesla tower produced free electricity to everybody. Tesla also proved that the ground, you could put you could put light bulbs right into the ground. And I don't remember what else he did, but he had some kind of experiment where he I think it was like 200 feet out. It might even been further than that. It might have been 2 miles. I don't remember. But I know it was a ways. And he put all these light bulbs out. And I don't know if it was his Tesla tower or how he did it, but he turned all those light bulbs on. They all illuminated with no generation, no hydro generator, no coal, no fuel, no nothing. And they all just lit up. And I personally think that's why he's dead now, because he had a way to give everybody free, unlimited energy. And our government chose not to let that happen. Boy, that gets into a whole nother subject that, I don't want to be political, but I think I'm going to go down that road soon. What the world governments are doing to us and how they're holding us back from what we should be experiencing. But anyway, so the pyramids, hands down, power plants. Hands down, not tombs. They knew what they were doing. And unfortunately, they didn't leave us. Well, and I don't know this. Maybe we just haven't found it. To my knowledge, to date, they have not left us the instructions on how to make this or manufacture this or to produce this. But I could be wrong. I mean, the information could be out there and it could be held secret. I believe Tesla found it. I believe he understood the theory, and I believe he put it into use, and I believed he was He was assassinated for that purpose because the governments didn't want him to unleash free energy around the world. It takes away the control. Just like the power struggle we're going through today with oil and electrical. It's a money power struggle. It just amazes me how we can just print money and move it all around to places and nothing ever happens. Would that be nice? No batteries. Can you imagine all that hazardous waste that we could just eliminate? How much better and cleaner our planet would be. I believe that the pyramids created a nice, clean power, so we weren't. First of all, so we weren't messing up our own electrical fields. I think I talked about this last week, but we all have an electrical field in our organs, our brain. Every part of our body has its own little like subfield or whatever. They're all on a different frequency, and it's been proven with EM. It's hands down proven that all these EMFs that we have going on, Bluetooth, streaming, wireless phones, 5G, all this stuff is interfering with our natural body's frequencies. And it's creating havoc on society right now. And I don't know why we're letting it happen. But at any rate, so if we had the pyramids up, we wouldn't have all that crap. You could just turn your cell phone on. There'd be no, I don't know if there'd be any radiation or not. Because I'm not really sure what creates the radiation in a phone. I just know it's there, but I haven't researched that to find out why your phone would be producing radiation. I don't know why that would. I don't know how or why that happens, but I'll have to look into that because that's actually a really good question, because that would be a really good topic, actually, the radiation in your phone. So, at any rate, yeah, it's all good. So hopefully one day we'll get back to the pyramids. We'll figure out how to turn them on, maybe build some more. Like to build a big, giant, huge one here in Arizona desert where we got lots of room. And that would be so cool, just to blanket the whole Southwest with just free electricity. Hell, if we could do the whole planet, I would definitely do it. It would just be so cool. And that'd be less struggle, and everybody would have more independence. People had more free agency. There'd be a lot of different things to do, the inventions, the innovations, everything would just take off. It would just be so cool. It's got me excited just thinking about it. But it would just be, imagine you got your Tesla and you just open the door and push the button and go. But then we get the problem of thieves. So I don't know how to solve that. Well, actually, I do know how to solve that problem. That's for a different episode. But free electricity, it's there for us. It's there. I do believe. I believe that we have the technology. I believe we have the understanding, because if Nikola Tesla did it a long time ago, 50, 60, no, that was probably back in the 40s. So 80 years ago, he did that. And if he did that with that rudimentary availability of knowledge and resources, you could only imagine what we could do today. The Tesla towers, they need to be rebuilt. They need to change our world. We need to quit being slaves to our governments, and the human race needs to start living and being free. But I still believe in closed borders. Is that a contradiction? I still believe in sovereignty. I do believe in that. So, but that could change tomorrow. I don't know, but I don't really think I want a bunch of criminals in my country killing people. Just saying. Don't really want that. Doesn't sound like a good thing. So, all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show on pyramids. Just my thoughts on the pyramids. And don't forget to tune in every Thursday Thursday will be a new episode. And thank you for watching, and hit the like button, subscribe. And I know it's pulling teeth, but leave a comment. I would really like to talk about comments sometimes. Not Haley's comments, but like the comments that you leave on the comment page. All right. Here you guys have a good day, and thank you for watching.